Director, Honest Elections Project Action, Jason Sneed here. We're talking SAVE Act. Looks like it passed, Jason.
It did. It passed the House of Representatives last week. It headed off to the Senate. That's the good news. The bad news is that the SAVE Act passed with fewer Democratic votes this year than it did last year. And Democrats in the Senate are already signaling that they want to kill this for a second time, which puts them on the wrong side of an issue that 80% of Americans support, which is requiring proof of citizenship before you can register and vote.
That's crazy. All right, so I don't know why Democrats keep fighting for non-citizen voting. I don't want people who don't live here to make laws or help decide them.
That's the question I think everybody should be asking. Right now, the left and a lot of pundits in the media are asking, why are Republicans pushing this? Why are Republicans trying to change proof of citizenship requirements? But I think the real question here is when you've got 80 or more percent of the American people who say, actually, we want this, why are Democrats opposed to it? I think at the very least, there are a lot of folks in Congress on the left that are okay with non-citizen voting, and increasingly, there are a lot of progressive politicians that actually want non-citizens to be casting ballots. Otherwise, you wouldn't have people in Washington, D.C. passing a law to allow illegal aliens to vote in state elections. You wouldn't have Democrats in New York City spending years defending a law to let 800,000 non-citizens vote in our elections. And all across the country, you wouldn't have Democrats opposing state constitutional amendments to ensure that only citizens can vote in our elections.
Yeah. All right. So I apologize for the quality of our phone line, folks. I don't know what's going on. It started this just in the last couple of weeks, and it's kind of choppy. I think it's just cell service in the area, but we'll do the best we can. But some illegals are actually registered to vote.
Well, that's right. There are, unfortunately, a number of easy ways for non-citizens to get on the voter roll. Right now, federal law actually acts as a straitjacket on our states. You've had years of left-wing litigation that has gotten courts to interpret federal law as preventing states from requiring proof of citizenship before you register and vote. So right now, all you have to do is check a box saying, yes, I'm a citizen, and then you can get registered, and then you can even cast a ballot. It's really incumbent upon states to go in behind the scenes, do the hard work of identifying non-citizens on the rolls. Many of them shirk that responsibility. We know that there are blue states that are hostile to cleaning up the voter rolls. And then, of course, you've got, when Democrats are in power at the federal level, you've got efforts to try to halt states from doing that. In fact, very infamously last year, Virginia identified 1,500 non-citizens who had actually told the state they were not citizens, but they were nevertheless on the voter rolls. And when Virginia tried to remove them before the 2024 election, what the Biden Justice Department did? They sued to keep those non-citizens on the rolls in Virginia. So it's time for us to fix those problems and make sure that non-citizens can't get on the rolls in the first place.
Okay, I agree with you completely. I'm really sorry about the phone lines. I'm getting calls that are complaining on the other lines. It's a phone line. I don't know what you want me to do about it. I can't really fix the phones. All right, so some do register, some cast ballots in federal elections. They shouldn't. They're not supposed to be here in the first place. I am not the first one to step up and say they're all horrible people, because they're not, but they're not legally here to vote, and I don't want them deciding what happens in this country, because a lot of them will vote for the Democrats who are lying to them about what they're about to receive, because they're not, but they're going to get as a letter saying it's your day in court, prove why you should stay here, or you're going back where you came from. That's what's happening to a lot of them. So this was rightfully struck down, thank goodness, and hopefully it goes nationwide and everybody figures it out.
Well, I think this is one of the common sense issues where most Americans, in fact, Americans on the left, the right, it doesn't matter what your political persuasion, most Americans agree that only citizens should be voting in our elections. And that's why you saw 8 states last year vote overwhelmingly to put citizen-only voting in their state constitutions. You've seen laws against non-citizen voting passed. You've seen several Democrats set up their own party in Congress, but unfortunately we're only talking about 4 members. So the left is way out of step here. And I think that this is just proof of how out of sync they are with the American people. We should be putting common sense requirements in, because that non-citizen. And that is one too many people being silenced when we allow non-citizens to vote.
Amen to that. His name's Jason Sneed. Where do they go to read more about the passage of the SAVE Act, please? It's just in the House so far.
Well, yes, it's in the House. It's headed to the Senate. We'll be keeping everybody up to date on X at Jason W. Sneed or at Honesty Elections.
All right. Sorry about the phone quality, folks. Jason, I will post the podcast even though it sounds like I'm talking to a robot with bad AI. I apologize for that. But thanks for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.